I wanted to talk about a tweet that got a lot of attention yesterday. And when it exploded, the hashtag CryptoPunk is trending. But for 150,000 US dollars is actually not a lot in the world of CryptoPunks. They're rare, and I do consider them as an OG NFT collection, 2017, if I remember correctly. So, Ash, what is all the fuss about when a company like Visa buys an NFT?
That's a great question to start with. I think you need to think about this in two parts. First, the backstory of CryptoPunks, and second, the news flow yesterday coming out of Visa.
Okay. So take me back to a little bit basics. Who and where do these CryptoPunks come from, and why are they so popular? Because they're all over Twitter. It's rare that I log into Twitter and don't see a CryptoPunk nowadays.
Yeah, so CryptoPunks are an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain created by Larva Labs. They're some of the oldest NFTs out there. They date back to 2017. They are provably scarce, which means you can verify the scarcity using the blockchain. There are only 10,000 in existence. All of them are different. When you look at the graphics themselves, they're very simple, almost chunky, you could say. They're 24 by 24 pixels. That's a total of only 576 pixels. So these are sort of very low resolution images. One recently sold at auction at Sotheby's, the big auction house, for $11 million. The fascinating thing about these NFTs, and I think really the key data point to understand what makes them so unique, why the technology is so interesting, is that you can actually look at the data points. You can actually look at the sales volume. You can look at the pricing, all live on the blockchain. And let me just give you a quick rundown so you can get a sense of what we're talking about here in terms of the volume and the popularity. The floor price right now, that's the lowest price that you can purchase one of these at, is over $240,000. In the last 24 hours alone, there have been over $55 million in sales, lifetime sales of over $872 million. The number of sales in the last month, the volume, all of this stuff, as I said, is available on the blockchain. We're going to post a link in the comments here so that you can go and take a look at it yourself. One quick note, your mileage may vary since these are updated and refreshed constantly. So when you log in, even if it's only a couple of hours after we've done this report, the numbers are going to be different. And that's part of the power of this technology.
Okay. So like I said, 150,000 is not a lot, especially when you mentioned Sotheby's racked up one for $11 million. So what's the significance of the announcement from Visa then? Because what does it all actually mean? Is that like a bullish sign for NFTs or no?
That's a great question. I think we're all struggling to get our heads around exactly what NFTs are. So are they art for art's sake? Is it a membership key, kind of digital calling card, a call option on Ethereum? They've been called all of these things and more. And we're also trying to figure out and understand what it is and what it means. So specifically, Visa bought CryptoPunk 7610. That's the number of 10,000. And they paid $150,000 in Ethereum, we should point out, for that CryptoPunk. You can see all of that on the blockchain. It's on the Larva Labs website. As I said, all of this data is embedded in the website because it's extracted live from the Ethereum blockchain. We're also going to link to something else that I think is really interesting, which is a blog post by Visa written by Kai Sheffield, who's the vice president and head of crypto at Visa. One of the things that strikes me that's very interesting about this blog post is the level of sophistication and thinking that Visa is doing around this technology. Kai talks about the future of retail, the future of social media, entertainment, and commerce, some of the impacts that this is going to have on small and medium-sized businesses. This is very interesting technology. It has tremendous applications beyond simply the collectability of these digital assets, of these digital art pieces. We're still trying to get our heads around it, but it's interesting to me that a company like Visa that obviously does electronic payments, that does very high volume transaction electronic payments, is looking at this technology and trying to figure out what the architecture is, what the infrastructure needs will be, and how it's going to impact their business going forward, Elaine.
Okay, and on that note, let's talk about the other popular NFTs that I've seen floating on the Twitter space. I've noticed there's the Bored Apes Yacht Club, which is a collection of bored-looking apes. And I speak to one of the early investors, and he tells me a lot about what they're doing in that space. And there's pudgy penguins, for example. I've seen a bunch of those. So talking about other popular NFTs, what sort of precedence or excitement has this caused within the world of NFTs?
Well, you can see from the news cycle that there are obviously a lot of stories being written about this. There are a lot of people who are incredibly passionate about it. In some ways, it's almost a Rorschach test. If you're already bullish on NFTs, the idea of more projects, more interesting artwork being done is incredibly exciting. If you think that these are kind of digital Beanie Babies, if you think it's a bubble, you probably see confirmatory evidence in that direction as well. I think the projects that are out there are really cool. I find it interesting, but whether for example, the 7610 token that Visa bought is going to sell next, or its sort of competitors, its peers, are going to sell from 150 to 15,000 or 1.5 million. It's very difficult to say because this market is so new and the pricing has been so volatile.
Yeah, I can only imagine that it's an endless space. And then, probably something like photography will probably be the next big market for NFTs. Anything else, Ash?
Well, if you can guess the next big market for NFTs, you're a lot smarter than I am. I think we're going to see a tremendous number of new applications, some of which we probably don't yet know. I should add, though, a final point. There's a great interview featuring G Money, Tony Herrera, and hosted by Sergio Silva on Real Vision right now, just out in July, where we talk about CryptoPunks. G Money is skinned in his CryptoPunk skin. If you don't know exactly what that means, you'll know immediately when you see the interview. Our production folks here at Real Vision are the best in the business.
All right, fantastic stuff. Well, I'm always up for chats about NFTs. Thank you for your time today, Ash.
Always a pleasure, Elaine.